We had a lot of great readings this Sunday, the 15th Sunday in Ordinary Time, and I would love to go through them all. The Psalm, especially the second option, I really love. But we had in the Gospel. We had the parable of the Good Samaritan, which we've all heard a bunch, and but you always notice something new. And I've read this a million times, and I did notice something new that I think is kind of weird. So the scholar of the law asked Jesus, what do I have to do to inherit eternal life? You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your being, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. So the scholar of the law says that, and Jesus says, you have answered correctly. Do this and you will live. But then the scholar of the law says something interesting. But because he wanted to justify himself, he said to Jesus, and who is my neighbor? Did you notice the weird thing there? When the guy wanted to justify himself, he didn't go to the first part, which is longer, of love the Lord your God with all your heart, being, strength, and mind. He went to the second part, your neighbor is yourself. That's what he thinks he's failing on. And I think that's ridiculous, right? The first part is obviously the bigger part and much more difficult. I think we do this a lot too. Yeah, I'm loving God with everything I've got. Yeah, but loving my neighbor, that's hard. Well, because our neighbor's there in front of us. But I think that's a really interesting reflection. I think we a lot of times do that. Okay, there's this big part about loving God and a little part about loving our neighbor, and we forget about the big part about loving God. They're interconnected. It's the one commandment of love in a sense. But it's funny to me, and I wonder why we do that. I think one of the reasons could be, for some people, for some of us at some times, is our relationship with God maybe is a little unreal, and our relationship with our neighbors is not unreal. It's there in our face all the time. But sometimes our relationship with God, we just don't worry about. We're like, oh, it must be fine. So just something to meditate on that you might have missed. There's both part of the commandments, and a lot of times, and when we're trying to justify ourselves, sometimes we focus on one or the other.